Hey everyone. Alright. So I just got seen Queer. Yay, Queer. The movie all mainstream audiences are seeing this past weekend. They didn't see something like The Hedgehog 3 or whatever that Disney movie is with the weird looking lions that are meant to look like real but aren't. Everyone's seeing Queer as obvious. I'm actually shocked. I think Queer has actually done decent at the box office. Like, okay, I don't know if it's been a success to call it that, but it's done like better than I thought. Like, you would think Y2K would make more money because it's more of a mainstream film, will appeal to more people. People will probably go out and see that. I was like thinking nobody would probably go out and see Queer. But I mean, at least just tonight at a 10:30 p.m. showing on a Monday, there was like, actually, I thought it was gonna be just me, because I bought my ticket probably like 2 hours before the movie started, and it was just me, and then like 8 people showed up. I was like, oh, and like all in different areas. Like, some came alone, some came as duos. I was like, oh shit, like I mean, that's not a lot, but people showed up last minute in Arlington, Texas to see fucking Queer. So that's impressive to me, and I've seen that it's done decently at the box office for what it is. For how limited the marketing has been, and maybe the appeal of the kind of movie it is, I think it's doing decent. So Queer, it's Luca Guadagnino's new movie. It's about this man who lives in Mexico, and I want to say it's the 50s is the era I was definitely getting. Although, every time, when the first music choice came on in the film, and it was Nirvana, I was like, oh fuck, maybe I'm like an idiot. But no, they use a lot of different sort of like 90s music in there, I noticed. And I thought that was kind of cool. The way that the Nirvana song is used, by the way, is fucking great. You have to just see it to know. Yeah, I would want to say that it's 1950s, and it is about this gay man who genuinely just kind of is, I almost hate to say, on a prowl to find men every day to sleep with and kind of, see if he can become infatuated with. And he never really does until this guy, played by, I believe his name is Drew Starkey, he's one of like a bit of a newer actor, comes into town, and he sort of becomes infatuated with him. And it is sort of that journey of love and respect, and who are you as a person? Where does your addiction come from? How do you base yourself as queer or not queer? I thought it to be a pretty great character study, especially of Daniel Craig, who delivers a performance of maybe his career. I mean, I've seen Daniel Craig in a lot of shit. I've seen him as James Bond. I've seen him in Dragon Tattoo. I have seen him in the Knives Out films. I have seen him in Dreamhouse. You guys remember that fucking movie? I've seen him in quite a lot throughout time, and I don't think I've seen a more transformative performance from him than this in a wild way. Like, down from the accent, the way he acts, the constant sweating, the uncomfortable situations, the loving situations. Visually, just the film he's put into is a lot. And obviously it's a Luca Guadagnino film. Also, this is just kind of a big Challengers reunion, because you got Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross back, of course, and now you got Justin Kritzky, who wrote Challengers, who also wrote this film. So it's all kind of a unit film together of people who worked on the score and directed, produced, and written, directed, produced, and score, pretty much, around the board. Same people. That's kind of fucking cool. I knew Justin Kritzky wrote this, and I had known that, obviously Luca Guadagnino directed it, but I think I might have heard at one point that Trent and Atticus were on this, but I guess I had forgotten, because when their names came, I was like, oh shit, cool, we get another score. A very different score. Obviously, it's not going to be similar to Challengers in that way, but maybe with the amount of, like, the sexual appeal and the queer undertone. I mean, it's a film called Queer. The queer undertones in this film, I guess that kind of connects to Challengers in a way, in the most minimal way, because this is a very different film, tonally, look-wise. It's going for something completely different. Another surprise, I didn't know Jason Schwartzman was in this. He showed up, and I was like, is that fucking Jason Schwartzman? I mean, his name came up in the credits, but when I actually saw what his character looked like and shit, I was like, Jason fucking Schwartzman? What the fuck? I'm assuming it was like makeup and prosthetics on him, or maybe Jason Schwartzman gained a shitload of weight for this role. I don't believe so. but maybe. Really liked him in it too. He was like one of the funnier characters, who's kind of always like the bouncing off buddy of Daniel Craig when it comes to they're this kind of queer, or maybe they're queerer than I am, kind of just judging the way people act around them, and kind of just judging all the other queer or gay people in the community that live in this area of Mexico City. They have this group called the Green Lanterns that are like the sort of like, they almost, at least the two guys we meet from them are kind of like the rich, slightly almost antagonistic to that group. They're like the ultimate queer group, the fancy queer group who shows up and has like a party and get together every week where they all hang out. It's almost like an upper class thing in a very interesting way. I don't know how much to really get into the story, because I actually think the film is visually, so the film is almost not told through a lot of dialogue. I mean, the dialogue is very sharp and it's very entertaining and very well written, but I do believe that like a lot of it is kind of a visual film that you kind of just have to see for yourself, especially the third act where it all comes together. There's a lot of, I'll say, like imagination sequences, drug tripping sequences. There's a lot of stuff that comes together more as like a visual thing rather than a dialogue related sort of final act of the film, and even the epilogue to the film. It comes together differently than I thought it was going to. Every act, it kept changing it up. I was like, oh shit, like, the first act feels like a very grounded film, and very, like, simple and a little uncomforting, but also kind of beautiful. And then the second act, it starts to a little bit spiral, and I was like, it almost became more of like a dream sequence, the way the visuals kind of change once they go on this trip in the film to South America. And then the third act, I was like, oh, this film was genuinely getting trippy. And then the epilogue, I was like, I wonder if it's going to go there. And it does go. I almost cried at the ending. That ending, once you see it, to me, it hit a bit emotionally. I just felt like it was just so devastating and such just very depressing. And I thought it was very well done. I am trying not to spoil the film the best I can. I'm also really tired. It is 1:30 a.m. So, like, my energy is... I'm trying to get my energy up being, like, talking about this film, and it's very fucking good. It's definitely one I want to see again. I hope A24 gives this a physical release. I would love to own it and actually, like, watch it again. Maybe when I'm, like, more energetic. The only time I could go was late at night, so kind of had to deal with that. But, didn't fall asleep or anything at all. I was very captivated, very locked in a very interesting film, and I think... I don't like it as much as Challengers this year, but even to compare them seems unfair because they're very different movies. But what a fucking double hitter year for fucking Luca Guadagnino. I don't know if this one's doing obviously as well box office wise or even awards contender wise. I think Craig could get nominated for an Oscar from what I've been hearing, but he's definitely not in the front lead to win. He's definitely like the least likely, even if he gets the nominee. But I mean, I've seen Ralph Fiennes' performance, I've seen Coleman Domingo, and I thought Coleman Domingo was fucking fantastic. I thought Ralph Fiennes was damn good in Conclave. I haven't seen Adrian Brody and Timothée Chalamet. I'm seeing Timothée Chalamet in Complete Unknown very soon, so I can judge on that. But based on the three that I've seen that are getting a lot of that awards buzz, I think Craig should fucking win it at this point. He's amazing in this. Again, like, if anything is worth your money, I think visually the film looks great to see on a big screen, and I think just to see Daniel Craig's performance, it's pretty fucking great. I gotta pay immense respect to him. I thought he did a fantastic job, and I really enjoyed Queer. I would even go as far as to say loved it, and I actually do want to see it again. Shame it won't be in a theater to see it again, but I think it might hit streaming home soon, so like hopefully I can watch it at home sooner than later. Yeah. Fucking great movie. I'm thinking a 9 out of 10. Not perfect to me, but I could see it as one of those films that I rewatch, and over time it becomes like a favorite. A very, very in-depth character study, romantic drama, almost like not thriller, but it can get pretty dark at times. It has some very thrilling and frightening imagery, I can say, at times. But not going to call it a thriller for sure. I very much enjoyed it. I would love to read the novel, because I've heard a lot about the novel, and I heard the novel kind of also gets kind of crazy as it goes on. And yeah, I would love to see like how it compares to the novel, or if it's like just a straight up direct adaptation. I don't really know much, so now I'm very curious to read the novel. It's the same way when I left Wicked, where I was just like, I've heard the novel's like fucking insane compared to the musical, and obviously I had seen the Broadway musical before, but I had never read the novel for sure. And after reading Wicked, I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, I'm now curious definitely to read fucking Queer at this point. Very curious. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. If it's playing at a theater near you, I'd say go out of your way and give it a chance to see it. Although it is an art house film, and if you also for some reason just can't handle seeing sexual content between two men on screen, this is not like a great place to start. It's definitely like, for an R-rated film, it's pretty graphic. I mean, it goes all the way there. So just like, obviously a warning for people. The fucking, okay, I will say, two people in the back of my theater during the first like sex scene, I heard a girl go, "Oh, what?" So then I actually almost started fucking dying laughing. I was like, "Bitch, did you not know what you just paid for? Did you not do any look into the movie called Queer?" Just wondering, because the fuck was that reaction out loud in the theater? Otherwise, the rest of the movie, silence in the theater. I think everyone was very focused, but that was the only time I heard like any noise. A few laughs for Jason Schwartzman. He has a few funny lines, and I did like him in it. But yeah, Queer. I give it a 9 out of 10. I do want to see it again. I think it could change my perspective on it a bit more. Yeah, really enjoyed it. I highly recommend checking it out. And tomorrow I should be seeing Mufasa. Not really that interested in it, but I think I'm at least just gonna go check it out. And then, but this fucking week, man, it's stacked. We got Nosferatu and Baby Girl. I'm doing that double feature on Christmas night. Let's fucking go. And then, besides that, we have Fire Inside, which looks pretty damn good, and Complete Unknown, which I've heard is pretty good. But the big thing I hear is, like, even though it's pretty good, Timothée Chalamet's performance is fucking amazing, apparently. So, very curious to check it out. And yeah, that's about all I gotta say. Shout out Luca. Keep making fucking crazy movies. And I can't wait to see your extended cut of A Bigger Splash coming out. I heard that's a thing happening. So that's cool. That's it. Bye.